Hello and welcome to Georgie's Gundogs at Trails for Tails Dog Training. Hello new subscribers, and again thank you for all your comments. Glad you're all enjoying the videos. New year, so hopefully get some more after the last one I've just put up. Here's another one. So what we are going to do here today in this video is we are going to do the memory retrieve, introduction to the memory retrieve. So there's a lot of things to think about when we're teaching a memory retrieve. They are different from a scene retrieve. They are seen, but excuse me, you're taking all the limelight. They are seen, so they are marked, but they become a memory retrieve. So what that means is you won't be going out for it at that time, or it might have dropped somewhere where they can't visually see it on the ground, but they've seen it from height, dropped, and it's gone into some cover and something. Especially those who are picking up dogs. They have to remember where it has been, where it has fell, and these dogs have to remember where it is. Also, when it comes to a memory retrieve, you're likely to need to line up the dog for this memory retrieve. Even though the dog does remember, it is best to line them up so you give them an idea of where it was felt, because especially if you're picking up, there's going to be numerous birds falling with you and around you that your dog will have to mark and remember where it's been. Okay, and like I said, not everything is going to fall out on the flat. Things are going to go into wood, cover, hedges, you name it, and our dogs have to remember where that's. We also have to learn to mark and remember. Okay, remember where it's fell. All right. So this is all about teaching the dog to remember where the dummy has been. So this video is just an introduction, learning to take your line, learning a different position as well. Because when I've got a simple mark or a mark that I've seen and I don't need to line the dog up, I won't line the dog up for that mark. So what I mean by lining up is I have my hand pointing to the way I want the dog to go. Like I said, if it's a scene and I know the dog has seen it, I will just send it on the verbal. So for me, it's get it. We are now teaching memory, so we will have that position of lining. Okay, so lining the dog out of where I want to go. This will also help with your blind work as well, because it teaches the dogs to go out to an area of confidence. They know something's there, but they have to remember. So it gives them a bit of a confidence to go to things that they haven't seen or can't see on the floor. But in the early stages, you do want to support this. So you'll see in this video, I'll have a little bit of white on the dummy to support the dog to draw it back out on that line. So it draws it towards the area. All right, which I would also use for blinds. This is in the early stages, though. You don't want your dog just doing on white dummies, because they'll learn to use their eyes and not their nose. And their nose is the one that's going to find it most at the end of the day. So another thing that I teach when I'm teaching a memory is my position, my lining up. So there's going to be a few elements we have to break down here. So that's that lining up. A lot of people, when they first teach their young puppies to retrieve, they throw the hand out. Well, when you come to needing to line your dog out, what happens is when the arm goes out, the dog automatically thinks you're sending, and that becomes like a visual cue to the dog to go. So you need to be aware. This is why I say to my owners, try not to throw your arm out when you start teaching retrieving, okay? Let the dog see it and want to get to it, all right? Also, when I was teaching the memory, sometimes we have to build up just that position, you know, of the arm going out alongside the dog, just lining it out. Doesn't mean you're going anywhere. What that means, that line out, is the way you are going, okay? Not go. So it's very important that you learn that, and that the dog learns that so that they can be still, because there's times like you might line up and actually something, okay, example on a shoot, there's a bird gone down over there, shot, and then there's a runner gone, okay, and you've been lined up to that, and all of a sudden you see a runner, let's say. Well, if you've seen a runner, you have to pull that dog off that and line to that, okay? So it's important they learn to follow your line, follow that arm. So it's important, and that they also don't think that automatically means you're going, because you might have to turn off for whatever reason, okay? Another thing I use is a different cue to my scene retrieve. So a scene retrieve, my word is get it. Other people use other stuff, like I've said in the videos. For a memory and a blind, I use get out. It means follow my line, get out to that area. There is something there. Trust me. Okay, so I get out. Yeah, that means where you're going. No, not yet, mister. Okay. So it's about having a different cue. I see the dogs that always have the same cue on all the retrieves. I find that they start to go, oh, I haven't seen something fall. I haven't marked something. Okay. And I've seen, not all of them, some will go out on it. Okay. But because they'll know that your positioning is slightly different because they're watching every inch of you, let's face it. But I do find they start to use their eyes more. Well, we're on the memory in the blinds. We really, ideally, they're going to have to use their nose. They're going to have to go to areas and stuff like that. So it's important that our cue is different. So it's very clear to the dog that there is something out there. I need to follow my line. Put your nose down, take the line, and go and wind it, find it, whatever. Okay, which will come with experience down the line. They get better and better with the more experience they gain. But there are other elements to retrieves that we'll talk later down the line. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to use the pup in this, and the reason being I'm going to use the pup in this is because the pup hasn't done a lot of memories. He's still learning. So he's a young dog and he needs to start doing a little bit more of this. He's now coming up to 7-8 months. I can't remember, bloody useless owner. So I want to do it with him. Now, when I first teach this, a lot of people try and do it off lead. So they walk the dog at heel, drop the dummy, and then a lot of time the dogs run in. Well, you don't want them running in on the dummy because if they'll learn to keep doing that and it's just rewarding for the dog. So I like to put especially young dogs on the lead so I can contain them so they can't practice running in so I can walk them back. Eventually I will do it off lead because we need that steadiness. They need to learn to be able to cope with things falling to the ground, not running in, stuff like that. But in the early stage when I'm first example introducing to a memory retrieve, I want them on the lead so they can be steady, not run in, not make errors, okay? Because it's all about setting the dog up for success. Also, what I'm going to do to warm the dog up is I'm going to use a food bowl first with a marker post as well. So the marker post will give the dog a bit of an idea of where it is. Eventually, I would fade this all out. This is not what I would always use. This is in the early stages, all right? So I'll use a food bowl. And the reason being is because they're walking away from it. Again, it's all steadiness training. I don't want you running on the food bowl. I want you to come away from it. I want you to stay with me. But what it does, it teaches them to go out to area. Then they'll get confidence going out to area. So then I'll walk them up again and maybe put a dummy out after, which you'll see in the demonstration. Okay, so there's a lot of factors. Again, this is all down with your memory. It's all about being tidy as well. What they're doing at heel, every element, what they're doing when we get to, because I'm going to use the place board as a bit of a place because I built some stays on there. I built some steadiness on there. Again, this is just the beginning. I would fade the board out, but this all supports that early learning. So this is the introduction to the memory. So I'll use the place board. Have the dog on the place board. So I'll walk them up to the bowl, put some food in, sit them up, take a couple of steps away. So again, using your sit stay, again, steadiness. Put some food in, walk them away, put them on the board, line them up. Okay, and I will be paying them at first being steady so you don't run in. Okay, some dogs you might have to have your arms straight out. Okay, but you know that's feedback. Little man, he will need a little bit. I'll probably put my arm up before he's even looked at it. The reason being is because we're working. He's quite an impulsive puppy, so I have to break this down. I just don't want him learning that my arm goes out, you're gone. Okay, you might see me work through some errors with him anyway. I try and set him up for success, but there might be something thrown in the video. That's why I want to use the puppy so you see me work it through and I'll talk it working through. All right, so I hope you enjoy the video of the introduction to the memory retrieve. Following up is the clip of me demoing it. Thank you. See you later. Bye. So, this video, we are going to do the memory retrieve. As you see, we're not doing that today. All right, so we're going to do the memory retrieve. Now, there was something I forgot to say in the clip, and when I'm teaching first the memory retrieve, I like to use paths, lanes, hedges, walls. What this does, it keeps a dog on a straight line, okay? So it helps support that straight line. It's all about your lines, right? You want them nice straight lines. If your dog takes your line, it's better they'll take to the area you want them to go. So use your walls, use your hedges, use your paths, whatever you can pick something that's got a straight line, hallways, whatever, okay? This will all support with that retrieve because we teach them to go out, come back, all right? So do use that. So what you can see is I've got my marker post. I've got Jimmy. And down the bottom there, I've made it quite short so you can see on the video. I've got my place board down there, all right? So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to walk Jimmy, put a food bowl down, walking from the board. So I'm going to start properly, walking from the board, and I'll talk you the way through it. We're not going around the post today. I've taught him around the post. That's another video. So what I'm going to do is I'll take Jimmy to the board so you can see the whole process. I will have him on the board, pay him, lead on, and I'm going to walk him down. I'm going to put the food bowl down. I'm going to sit him up, food bowl down, put the food in, walk him away, line him up, send him, get out to the food bowl, okay? No, not yet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it up to a dummy. Like I said, I've got to mark a post so he has an idea of where he's going to. This is supporting his early learning. He's a young dog. He doesn't need to go into nothing, okay? That will all come later. But for now, what I'm doing is supporting his early learning, all right? Okay, so as I said, I'll talk you through it as we go along. Here we go. Come on, Jimmy. Lead on. All right, so I have him here, and what I'm going to do, yes, I'm going to still work on my heel work on the way down. That is important. Yes, good lad. Yes, good boy. My little spring box. Jimmy, sit. Wait. Leave that. So pick him up, good boy. And I'm going to pay him for leaving it, okay? Because some of them will want to run. You can see he wants to go to it. So I've got to reward him. When he comes away, I've got to let him know he's got that right. Leave that. Come on. Yes, good boy. I use my leave that all the time. Hang on, steady. Good lad. Place. Good boy. Okay. So I'm showing him arm out, but I'm not sending him yet. And I'm keeping him on lead at this stage. Whistling my mouth, mustn't forget. Line him out. Good lad. Aha. That's what happens. See what I mean? That's why I wanted to use the puppy. And I've kept him on lead currently. So lining out. Yeah. Good lad. Yeah. Good lad. Good lad. I'm teaching the head forwards. Yeah. Good lad. I'm not rushing this. I'm gonna have my arm out. So I'm rewarding him. Moving my arm out. Get out. So I took my time. As you've seen, I broke it down to good boy. Good lad. If you have a dog that is a bit messy down there or a bit sniffy, put that recall on, okay? Jimmy's learnt this little bit of pattern from his marks, all right? So we're going to go again. Because all this is steadiness training. All of this helps with everything, okay? Good lad. You can practice on every element like your heel work. Like I said, we need more practice on that. Good lad. Good boy. Food in. So I'm going to reward him for managing himself. Leave that. Yes, good boy. Marking him for coming away. Good lad. All this communication. Come here, come here. So you pull him because he's got a very strong place cue. Heel. Come here. I'm going to support him a bit in that. Good lad. Good lad. Place. Good boy. Now I'm going to repeat again. Line out. Well done. Don't want him running, just want him looking forwards. Good. I'm paying him for that steadiness. Yeah, good lad. Lead off. And when I take lead off, especially with unsteady dogs, I ask them to sit. Sit. Good lad. Get out. Good lad. Good boy, mister. Good lad. So this time I'm going to finish with a dummy and then I would stop, okay, especially with a young dog. So I'm going to put my lead back on. Yes. Good lad. Good lad. So I'm swapping my bowl for a dummy. Leave that. Paying in for it not running in on me. Now, if you were like, have a dog that you know might run in on either, hold the lead as you put the food in. Hold the lead as you put the dummy in, okay? Just because I've built this up, all right? So remember where your dog stages. Leave that. Yes. Good boy. Place. Good lad. And some of them will ramp more now with the dummy out. They'll really want to pick it, okay? You can see he's very focused. Actually taking less food. Get out. Good boy. Thank you, Jimmy. Yay, get it. So I'm going to have a little play with him now because he's done super well. Let's have a little ball play. And that would be me with a young dog's introduction. That's how I do it, okay? Keep it nice and simple. Not overdo it, hammer it, okay? I want to keep that nice drive in it. That built, all them elements are paid, all right? So that is introduction to the memory retrieve. Good boy, mister. Well done, Jimmy. All right then, guys. See you later. Bye.